to the violent change.
Immediately, leaders of the Progressive Coalition meet to assess their situation.
It's been disastrous.
It's been disastrous. I mean, it's just been bam, 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 bam.
With time running out, they switch to Plan B. They decide to support a compromise petition that states the church agrees to disagree on homosexuality. But the conservative evangelical lobbyists are in no mood to compromise.
Right this way, gentlemen. You came to the right place for breakfast.
They host a breakfast at their headquarters, urging the delegates to remain strong in defending the church's doctrine.
Well, this morning we'd like to spend just a little bit of time speaking about the issue of homosexuality. And here to help us with that is Reverend Karen Booth, who is the Executive Director of Transforming Congregations.
I found myself listening intently to the openly gay and lesbian delegates and responding with strong emotion to their stories of personal hurt and frustration with what they believe are the hurtful policies of our church. My guess is that there may even be some of you out here at breakfast this morning who are wrestling with similar feelings. But friends, I want you to know that when all positions regarding sexual ethics are equally valid, the historic Christian teaching that affirms God's good gift of sexual intimacy only within the context of monogamous, heterosexual marriage is undermined and effectively set aside. May God prevent the United Methodist Church from ever becoming such a denomination. Amen.
The floor of the convention center fills up as the final showdown commences.
Good morning, Bishop, General Conference, visitors, and volunteers. It's time to turn in our discussion to an issue that I know matters for many here and in our church and in our world. James Howell at microphone 6 will introduce it.
Microphone 6. Many people feel that we need to take a strong stand against homosexuality, and many people feel we need to be totally inclusive. But what we want doesn't matter. What matters is God's will. And let me suggest that perhaps it is God's will that we tell the truth, that we disagree. We have said for a long time that we do not condone homosexuality, but they are here. They are in our delegations. They are serving in our churches. They keep coming back to a church that keeps saying no to them. There's a kind of miracle in that. There's a kind of grace in that. Let us vote for what is God's will. That is that we disagree. Thank you.
I'm looking for a speech against. Yes, right here.
I'm Philip Conley from West Ohio, lay member, USA. It's scary to me when we're a part of a church that isn't willing to talk about sin any longer. Sin is real. It's the reason Jesus came. It's the reason he died. There are lots of forms of sin, and this isn't the only form, but it's one that we've been asked to acknowledge as normative when it's not. I'm opposed to the petition and ask that you defeat it for the sake of our youth and the future of our church.
All right, friends, let us prepare to vote. If you'll take your keypads. If you would support the motion, please press 1. If you're not in support of the motion, please press 2. Please vote now. Five seconds. Just breathe for a moment. And the voting is closed. And you have not supported the motion. Thank you.
4 years ago, the vote was close. This time, it isn't. The progressives lose in a landslide, with the African delegates making the difference. Conservative Methodists feel vindicated.
I'm glad that the church retained its current language, which I think is fair and compassionate and understanding, and it's a good position for the church to be in. We do face a changing cultural climate in America concerning this, but of course, the church has never allowed the cultural climate or a segment of the culture to determine what our basic beliefs are.
But the progressives are frustrated and angry.
Friends, we're going to be moving toward a break.
It's for everyone.
Let's be in order, please.
It's for everyone, even if we have to remind the church.
Having lost the vote, progressive delegates and their allies protest and shut down the session.
I know that there are lots of folks out there who just say, why are we wasting any time with religious institutions who don't want us? My response is that 60% of gay and lesbian people claim some religious affiliation, and mostly Christian, despite everything that's happened.